Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at this little guy. This is the Furibee F36. This one was sent in for review by GearBest, and as you can probably tell right away, it looks like a little Tiny Whoop clone, or the Blade Inductrix. And now this one just comes with a little tiny stock remote. It's not bind and fly, which you can use with, say, a Spectrum transmitter or a FrSky. It just comes like that, but it is really cheap. It's like $20 or something like that. And yep, so let's get into it. Let's see, I already cut the tape on the one side. Let's just get this. It comes in this blue, or this turquoise and green color. You can see I got the turquoise, so I'll just show you the other side. It comes in schizo color. Ooh, must be smooth. There we go. Schizo would be proud. Alright, got a little manual here. It's like half English, half Chinese. Yeah, I don't think I'll need to look through that really, but it's there. Here we got a little bag with a USB charger. It looks like it uses, actually that's pretty uncommon. Let me get that out. That charging plug. It's not the 1.25, it's the micro LoSi connector, as you can see here. So fairly uncommon, but it should allow higher current through here, and the battery's out in there. Yep. And we do get 4 spare props, you can see as well in the turquoise. I think they look really nice. I really like the color. It's a greenish blue. And this is a lot smaller than I had thought from seeing in other videos. Here's the remote. It's not one of the, say, like CX10 remotes that are super tiny. It's kind of like the medium size. But it does have, I'd say you'd be pretty hard pressed to pinch with this. Definitely more of a thumbing remote, but it feels like it has decent tension all right. A little bit stiff going into the yaw, and from what I've seen, it definitely does. If you're flying, it's kind of like, you know, you can't be that smooth with the yaw. And then there's a screw in the back that'll take 2 AAAs or 2 AA's. I'm not sure. And you get a little screwdriver here. So let's take a look at the quad. Here we go. Looks exactly the same as, say, a Blade Inductrix or some of the other clones like the Eachine E010, I believe it is. I've seen Nick Burns' video, his review on this guy, and he compared them and they looked exactly the same. However, he did mention that the posts in here, the struts across, you can see hopefully how they're angled like that. This side over here is down, this side's up. Supposedly, as the prop goes around, it pushes on that. It gives it extra thrust. I don't know, but he compared it to other ones, and they didn't have that. And he said this one felt a lot stronger, so it might have faster kV motor stock. I don't know, but he said it flew pretty well, so I'm excited to check this out. Canopy just has 2 little pins under here that you pop off. Let's go look at the board. So you have it right here, so you can see it's kind of a unique looking style board. Just 2 screws. We have our antenna here. And the motors directly solder on. They do not have connectors, so if you need to change them, you will need a soldering iron. So a little bit disappointing, but it is a little bit of weight saving. Under here we have our battery, so let's take a look. Okay, so it says it's a 3.7 volt 1S, 150 milliamp hour 20C. So 150's not too bad. I know a lot of the Tiny Whoop people run 205s, I believe, but let's see how this flies stock, and let's just plug it in, see if we have any LEDs. Alright, so that's a little disappointing. Looks like we have a blue in the back, yeah, underneath on the board, and a red in the front, but you're not going to be able to see those in flight very well, so pretty much no LEDs. So yeah, I think that's good enough. So now I'm going to charge it up, and I'll fly it around and do my testing, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you how it flies. I'll show you how it flies, and we'll finish up with that. And then I'll be doing a separate video later, pretty soon right after this. I want to get into that called Will It Whoop. I got this camera. This is, let me see, what was it? It came with the CX117, I think. I don't know, it's the, what is this? The FX798T. This little camera, 25 milliwatt, should just solder right on. Nick Burns, once again in his video, he showed it, but I believe he used a different camera, so I'm going to try this one. So that'll be coming soon. I'll just stick it on there and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, now let's get into the flight footage and finish up this review. Alright, here we are for the flight of the Furibee F36. So just you plug in the quad first on this one. Just It's right here. Make sure you bend the battery leads so it does not sit on them. It sits on the motor feet. And then turn on your remote, and you do not have to do anything. It auto binds right there. You don't have to throttle up and down, so you just go. Let's just take off. And hopefully you can hear that. Hopefully. When you have a full battery, it actually sounds like it's oscillating, which is interesting. And as the battery gets down farther, it goes away. But let's just put it down on the ground here and recalibrate it. You just put both sticks down to one side, both sticks down to their side, and that recalibrates headless and the accelerometer. If you click in your right stick, I'll show you here. You click it in and give a direction, and it'll do a flip. And it gives a blip of throttle before and after the flip. There's pretty nice fast flips here. Then if you click in the left stick, it'll enter return to home, but it's just going backwards from what you calibrated. And then you're in headless mode, as you can see here, but you know, headless is worthless and it'll just get off. So I wouldn't recommend using that at all. And if you click the throttle trim, or the yaw trim left and right, either way it goes low to high rates. So 2 beeps is high, which I'm in now. This is high rates pitch, pretty decent for this size quad. And then here is the yaw. So pretty nice fast yaw, but if you take a look here, okay, so I'll just tell you what I'm doing. So left, right, right. You see how long it takes for it to spin down and change the yaw? Which is, yeah, so you kind of have to be really careful not to spin out like that, as you can see. You kind of have to let go of the yaw early and start early. We'll just be really careful on the sticks. And as Nick Burns said, this guy definitely has a lot of power here. I'll do a full throttle punch. For a quad like this, I think that's very respectable. But this is the first sort of Inductrix quad that I have, so can't really compare it to other things. You see the yaw almost got me there. But yeah, it flies really nice for indoors. I think it'd be a really good beginner quad, just because how cheap it is. And we'll test the prop guards here, you can just see. They just bounce off. That's the only problem you have though. Because obviously they're not invincible, but I find a lot of times you can just sort of bounce off and keep flying if you don't get that to happen. And then obviously on the ceiling you're fine. Let's just do a full funnel, full rates funnel, full yaw, full pitch. You can see it still has plenty of power to pull out of that. And I've been getting about a 30-minute charge time with about a 5-minute flight time. And that is with full high rates flying, so that's really nice. So slower hovering style, you could probably get 6 minutes. So I think that's a really nice times off of this quad for what it is. I thought I was going to get about 3 minutes. You can see if you're careful on the yaw, it can fly really nice. Not very fast, but it's certainly not meant to be. Alright, let's bring it in for a landing here. Okay, so let's finish up. Alright, so let's just finish up on the F36 here. Once again, just to restate, the charge times that we're getting were about 30 to 35 minutes there off the stock USB charger. And I was getting about 5 minutes of flight time, and that was pretty hard flying. The battery just gets warm, it never gets too hot, and the motors don't get hot, which is quite good, so you don't have to worry about that there. But yeah, I really like this quad overall. It's definitely not something if you're looking for speed or you're looking to move on up for a more difficult advanced flying quad, but for something I'd say for a beginner, the prop guards work very well. It's got decent charge flight time, pretty good there as well. It's just super cheap and it's super small. You can fly it indoors, as well as the quad blade props with ducted fans. It's really quiet. It's not quiet. It'll still probably annoy people, but it's definitely a lot more quiet than most other nano quads. And you can see just the ducted fan design with the lip here. Maybe that's why it gets a little extra flight time, because as it pulls air current up under it from this lip, it gives it the little extra lift. But there's debate on whether in this small of a size it's actually relevant and helps, but it's working for sales, obviously, because this thing has been cloned so many times. So yeah, I'll be doing once again the FPV video coming up if I can make this into a tiny whoop. Definitely the biggest downside of this is the remote. Coming at such a low price, they give you this toy remote here. It would be a lot nicer to use something like a Tyrannus or a Spectrum remote, whatever you have, or even a FlySky remote, but that's the downside of the price. And you could upgrade the board if you want and get to Betaflight on there and then put your own receiver in, but I think there's better options for that than just upgrading this one. But if you want something for cheap just to enjoy it, I definitely think it's a very nice indoor flyer. I'll leave a link down below to check it out from GearBest once again. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.